Right. Let's have a look at this now, shall we? This is kind of hilarious. Anytime, anywhere. Willis challenges Richardson to a debate. Now, the reason for this is what we talked about last night. The Taxpayers Union, of which now Ruth Richardson is the patron saint, I think, something like that, has come out to have an attack on Nikki No Votes. They're coming out to say you are mismanaging the finances. The Prime Minister said not too long ago that Nicola Willis is the best we'll ever have. The Taxpayers Union, because they're greasy little slime balls going, we'd love her to be the best they've ever had. But you can't argue the numbers. You can't argue the stats. You can't argue the figures. That this government, whilst pointing back to the last guys about how they had a shopping spree and they spent so much money, have borrowed more than the last lot do. And it's become so obvious that a heap of people on the right are having to say it, because if they don't, they just look like lying idiots. Like, if you don't say it now, you are either a moron or you're so partisan you should be irrelevant to conversations around politics. It's just that obvious. So Nicola Willis has challenged former National Party Finance Minister Ruth Richardson to a debate on the country's books at Parliament. The Taxpayers Union is poised to launch a pressure campaign targeting Willis in an effort to convince her to cut spending and reduce debt. Yep, that's always the way to win friends and influence people, to mock them and make them look like idiots. There's that old saying, remember that old saying, you can catch more flies with vinegar than honey? Oh, hang on. Maybe it's the other way around, but that's what they reckon they're going to do. Heading into National's caucus meeting on Tuesday morning, Willis said it was clear the campaign was being driven by Richardson, who was the chair of the Taxpayers Union. My message for Ruth Richardson is a very clear one. Come and debate me face to face. Come out of the shadows. I will argue toe to toe on the prescription that our government is following. I reject your approach, and instead of lurking in the shadows with secretly funded ads in the paper, she sounds like she's a comrade talking about this when it's the Taxpayers Union. Come and debate me right here in Parliament. I challenge any of these media outlets here to host that debate. I'm ready anytime, anywhere. It does sound like WWE, doesn't it? I will debate her. She needs to come in front up, face to face, put her face to her word. I don't know I'm not sure quite what that one means. Richardson laughed when RNZ asked her if she would debate Willis. I came to Parliament as a Minister of Finance. She is a Minister of Finance. She has to make the calls. She made no apologies for the pressure campaign. So Ruth Richardson has agreed to debate the country's fiscal position with Nicola Willis, which will be kind of hilarious and much watch. Hopefully that's on like Boxing Day. It'll be a great day after Christmas just to sit back and watch the boxing, the literal boxing on Boxing Day. Yeah. We could even do it for charity. I'm sure they'd want to do it for charity. That seems to be the kind of people they are. We've talked about the campaign. We've talked about what's going on. In fact, the Taxpayers Union has talked about the campaign, and the Taxpayers Union have talked about what's going on and how they're going to pressure Nicola Willis. What hasn't been talked about is exactly how they're going to do it. We talked last night about not we had some audio and we weren't going to release it quite there and then, but others are doing it. And Emily's actually referenced it tonight without anybody knowing, when Emily said that she's fudging the numbers. So here is a little ditty for you.
There was an accident, by the way, but I realised once I said it.
Here's a little ditty, as of course the Taxpayers Union wouldn't pay anything for it because, that's what it is. This must be a press release or something. I've never seen this thing before, but I heard the audio. Nicola Willis Fudget growth budget. They're very keen to start talking about how Nicola Willis is fudging the numbers. Where the fuck is the play on this thing? It's all white.
There's a play button right at the top.
At the top, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, because someone doesn't know how to do a UI.
So this is the ditty that I was talking about last night, and as you can see, other people are releasing it. Lots of people have it. And this is going to be a part of the Taxpayers Union attack. And this is the thing they've been so pissy about other people knowing. Like, it's basically a little angle they've come up with, a coining of a phrase. that they've used before about fudging the numbers. Have a listen, Whānau.
Nicola Willis keeps fudging the numbers with debt she won't discuss. Our economy is shrinking and government spending is up while our wallet can't keep up. Taste her sugary fudge at Nicola's Fudge. Nicola Willis keeps fudging the numbers with debt.
So that's it. That's the thing that the Taxpayers Union desperately wanted no one to hear.
Nicola Willis keeps fudging the numbers with debt she won't discuss.
Debt she won't discuss. Economy is shrinking. Government spending is up. So, it's a pretty, when it comes to messaging, it's pretty on point. And this is one of the reasons me and Chewy got so pissy last night. We've been saying this since before the last election. And we don't trust the Taxpayers Union. They are not honest actors. And as I said last night, my opinion is that it's the people who sign the checks for the Taxpayers Union that want to see change more so than the Taxpayers Union. That's just my opinion. It's going to be fun to watch the right eat itself. And you are going to have two factions. You're going to have the Hootens and the Taxpayers Union and probably big business on one side, and you're going to have Luxon and Willis and Auckland business on the other side, just going at each other. And what's become evident now, and I think Bomber wrote about this today, we may have Bomber on tomorrow night to talk about, is what the Taxpayers Union has done is they're now fully in the ACT corner. So Taxpayers Union used to be very much aligned with National. What they're now doing is they've become the voice piece of the ACT Party and what they want achieved. So we can all laugh at them telling the truth this one time about Nicola Willis, government spending going up, debt that she won't talk about, all true. But the underlying thing is the reason they're doing it, in my opinion, and Bomber's written about this, as I said, is because they are now taking on, they are aligning themselves much more closely with ACT than National. So they want to put pressure on to help get more ACT-style policies through than National. So it's going to be, as I said, I think everyone's going to have a bit of a laugh when they see Nicola Willis embarrassed. But just remember what's behind it. Sometimes it's like, like when the bad person in charge gets taken out, you're not aware that there's a badder person behind them to take over. So just be aware. Just be aware. What are your thoughts, Ems?
Well, my question is, who are they going to replace Nicola Willis with? And then I just realized as I thought of that question, the Associate Finance Minister is who? And that is even more scarier. Do you want, like you just said, do you want an incompetent Minister of Finance, or would you like an evil Minister of Finance?
It's always one of those things, isn't you? What is it? Nature abhors a vacuum. So when you take one person out, someone has to fill that space. Doesn't have to be equal to. It's a bit like we often talk about, I think it was an example that Chewy came up with, but, I felt a bit this way when we were just talking to Rachel as well, that the government's doing something, right? And they can stand up and say, we're doing something for the RMA, we're doing something. It doesn't mean they're doing something good. If someone's drowning and you throw them a bit of masonry brick, you've done something, but you're actually you're actually going to drown them more quickly, but you've done something. So yeah, I mean, I'm interested as to where to from here. And like I said last night, the actual little ditty, it doesn't really add anything to the conversation because it's about attacking Nicola Willis. It's about, a right-wing psyop that wants to see more austerity, more cuts, less spending. But in this instance, what they're doing is they're being accurate. Government spending's up. There's debt that they won't talk about. This is a sugar hit that they are, the government constantly, Luxon and Willis are constantly talking about, we don't just want a sugar hit like the last guys, which is exactly what they're doing.
Lolly scramble.
And so they're
fudging. I know all of their talking points. They're
fudging it. So there you go. I'm sorry to be so underwhelmingly disappointing, Whānau, but that's the big secret. And as I said last night, lots of people have it. As you just saw there, that's nothing to do with us. Other people have got it. And so there it is. That is what Jordan Williams said to me yesterday. What do I have to do for you not to play that tonight? He also told me it wasn't theirs. So I'm surprised as to if it wasn't theirs, why he'd want me to stop playing it. It's because it is theirs. So we'll see. It'll be fun. It'll be fun to watch from the sidelines. But, you know, it's fun to watch two bullies beat each other up. But then once one of them finally falls, you've still got a bully to deal with. That's not fun.